Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. I'm Mariam, librarian at the Central Library, and I've been hosting Cookbook Club for a little over a year now, but since March, Cookbook Club has looked a little bit different, but I wanted to continue sharing all the lovely cookbooks that we have at the Lexington Public Library. Now this week, the first week of September, is National Nutrition Week, and a few of my colleagues are going to be joining me to share some of their favorite cookbooks in order to promote community and sharing meals with your loved ones. So one of the cookbooks that I really enjoy checking out from the library is Alice Waters' The Art of Simple Food. Now this is the first volume that she has, and recently she also released The Art of Simple Food 2. Now Alice Waters is a renowned chef and restaurateur. She has a restaurant in California called Chez Panisse. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. But this cookbook in particular, The Art of Simple Food, is one of my favorites because she is a big advocate of eating locally, growing your own food, the art of simple food, keeping your ingredients simple and highlighting your ingredients. So her recipes are very simple, but they're really delicious. So Alice Waters is an advocate for locally sourced ingredients and shopping at your local farmer's market, and then eating together as a community, as a family, and cooking together, and keeping your ingredients simple in order to highlight those ingredients. And that's something that you can do now that if you're a gardener, once you're harvesting the fruit of your garden and you're putting your gardens to bed towards the end of the fall, these cookbooks are a great way to kind of get ideas of how to use up your produce that are coming out of your garden, or if you have like a CSA membership, or if you like to go to local farmers markets and find really neat fruits and vegetables that you've never used before. So she's got some really good recipes in this book. Some of my favorite recipes in here are her pizza dough recipes. It's a no-fail pizza dough recipe. You can use it to make like herbed bread too. So you can use up your herbs like rosemary and thyme and oregano in that. She's got also a really good chapter in here about roasting vegetables. Just really in-depth chapter in here about just what to do with all kinds of vegetables, and it's a really good way to get ideas about how to use up whatever you've grown in your garden, whether it's roasting, frying, or just even grilling outdoors, preserving vegetables as well. So it's really in-depth and detailed, and it's even though it is in-depth and detailed, it's pretty simple, and she's got step-by-step instructions, so it's really good for even the beginner gardener and the beginning cook. So her second one, The Art of Simple Food 2, goes deeper into actually cooking from your kitchen garden, so your small garden that probably most of us have. Using herbs to flavor your food and enhance whatever ingredients that are in your recipe. Just really interesting recipes that are really fun to try. Something simple like cooking beans, cannellini beans, using simple ingredients, but really enhancing that butteriness of the cannellini beans. So, Alice Waters is one of my favorite chefs. She's really good about simplifying your recipes, but really getting a big bang in your flavor. Check out Alice Waters' The Art of Simple Food.
Hi, My name's Leslie, and I'm an adult services librarian at the East Side branch, and I'm here to share two of my favorite cookbooks by a wonderful author. Her name's Julia Turshen. She is not formally trained as a chef, but I think that might almost make her even better for the home cook. She has these wonderful, inventive, very accessible recipes that use a lot of fresh ingredients. It's very garden friendly. Her first cookbook that we have is called Small Victories, and she offers lots of great meal suggestions. This one is arranged according to course, salads, soups, desserts, and everything. She just has a different slant on how to do things. And for instance, this evening my family and I made her tinfoil kale and cherry tomatoes. It's a way of cooking kale on the grill in an aluminum foil packet, and it really saves heating up the kitchen. And she has a list of neat ideas for techniques and stuff that you can do with things you might already have in the pantry at the end of this cookbook. It's a lot of fun to go through, and it does spur a lot of ideas that serve as jumping off points for things that you might want to make. And this one, now and again, it's a very clever cookbook. It gives you meals that you can make for certain occasions, an easy Thanksgiving dinner, a Saturday afternoon lunch, and it also gives you ideas for what to do with your leftovers. And again, just very accessible and doable in a home kitchen. You don't have to have a professional chef's kitchen to do it. One of my favorite recipes from here is baked saffron rice. It involves making rice in the oven. It cooks really evenly, cleanup's easy. It's a rice cooking technique I wasn't the least bit familiar with, and I now use it frequently. A bonus with all these books is that the pictures are beautiful. Every meal looks tempting. I can't recommend this enough. It's Julia Turshen. We have the cookbooks throughout the library, and I hope you'll check them out.
I'm Heather, librarian at Tates Creek Branch Library, and today I want to talk about a great cookbook I found recently, just published this year, called Eat Something, a wise son's cookbook for Jews who like food and food lovers who like Jews. Wise Sons is a restaurant in the San Francisco area owned by two brothers, and I picked this up because the cover caught my eye. A joyful book about family and community, and right now in these times when we're having to social distance and maybe not see family that we'd love to, any book that celebrates the dinner table and sitting down with family, I just thought, what a great idea. And the book itself is, it's full of the recipes, but also it's full of experiences, and with chapter headings such as, you've got the early years, the bris, Hanukkah, visiting the grandparents in the Sunshine State, which says below that, you've got to go, you want to go, what you'll eat when you do. Sick days, nourishment for the neurotic. It's called Jewish penicillin for a reason. The second chapter, awkward years, mitzvah moments. Turning 13 means big money. Must it also mean professional dancers and mountains of food? I mean, lots of these things are foreign to me. I'm not Jewish, but I really appreciated the love and playfulness in this book. looking through a cookbook's one thing, making a recipe from it is another. So last night I made this recipe for choroset, which is a traditional Seder element. It's they say it's probably the tastiest thing on a Seder table, or Passover, celebrating Passover. The ingredients were things like apples, golden raisins, walnuts chopped and toasted, orange juice. It asked for Manischewitz wine, which I didn't have, so I used pomegranate juice, and it has cinnamon. And honestly, when I ate some of it today, it reminded me a bit of Waldorf salad. Had a lot of the same elements, no celery, no mayo, but it is really tasty. And I asked a Jewish friend of mine if she thought it would be okay to eat that, at different times of the year rather than Seder. And she kind of laughed at me in her email and said, yeah, that's fine. So it's something I could see as a fall dish, personally, because of the elements of the walnuts and apples. And so I really recommend it if you're curious about this culture. And I am a reader and a cook and an eater who's curious about the foods of other cultures than my own. I would recommend it. Give it a look-see, if nothing else, but for the stories that are in it. It is a lot of fun to read, and it even has, at the back of the book, it even has a chapter called, or not a chapter, but a section called the kvetching. Where is it? Well, I am not finding it, but here it is, the kvetching department. Where nostalgia reigns, prices are too high, and everyone wants free pickles. An assortment of actual complaints from delis around the country. And it's just fun to read, and I did find other recipes that I would like to try. This chicken on the front looks very tasty, and the recipe for that is in here. So that is the cookbook that I am recommending. Thanks for listening.